Day one of the trek is finished and we're now in the village where we'll be spending the night. There are 25 little houses here, so it should be pretty cozy. This particular trek is much sort of touristier than the other one that I did. So we've seen like a lot of other groups and a lot of other tourists. I mean, a lot, like a dozen, 2 dozen along some of the trails, and it hasn't been as difficult as the one that I did in Sipa. That was a lot of like up and down through mountains and things. This one has been fairly flat, which is nice. I'm with a really, really nice group who's very chatty. It's a German couple who's about my age and a Brazilian couple who's a little bit older. But yeah, it's been really nice. It's been a really nice day. Still kind of warm here. It's about 4:30. It will get very cold again in the evening. Last night in the hotel was absolutely freezing again. When we were going through the sort of, there's like almost like a kind of rainforesty bit. So it was like quite wet and damp, and you had to walk along some logs and things. And my foot slipped, so I've walked most of the day with like quite a soggy foot, just like step squish, step squish, step squish. But hopefully my shoe will dry overnight. You can see behind the solar panel, which will no doubt be powering our lights for this evening. So yeah, like a good solid first day. So we've just arrived at our homestay for this evening. This village is quite a lot bigger than the one that we stayed at last night. And all of the people who trek, who do the 3 or the 2 day treks, they end up staying overnight in this village. Today has been a lot more difficult than yesterday's hike. So we did 4 hours this morning and 3 hours this afternoon. And a lot more kind of up and down. Last night was freezing. It was very cold. This morning outside for breakfast it was 12 degrees. So we figured that last night was probably below 10, and it's not that much warmer in the house than outside of the house. And also our lovely Brazilian friend, he was snoring all night long. So I think that some of us are a little bit tired today because of that. So the countryside is just still incredibly beautiful. There's all of this kind of like copper colored fields everywhere. And then, you know, we've been looking at the different crops that they're growing, and then the mountains. There are water buffalo. Behind me are ox. But yeah, so they're sort of domesticated water buffalo. We hiked through, I think, 3 or 4 villages. I can't even remember now. One of them, there were a number of people who were dressed up in sort of traditional, the women especially, who were dressed up in traditional outfits, and we realized that that's because there was a funeral going on. So there were all these people who come from like all of the different villages all around. So yeah, that was quite interesting. So now it's time to shower, which means a bucket full of cold water that you dump over your head with a smaller bucket, and then delicious food. The food has just been incredible, and then trying to cover up for yet another very freezing cold night, I expect. So after 4.5 hours of walking this morning and getting on a boat for about an hour, we've now arrived at Inle Lake, which was our final destination, and those are all the boats that you can see behind me. So from Kalau, where we started, to here is 60 kilometers. So that is how far we walked in 2 and a bit days. And we took a kind of roundabout route because you know, we wanted to see the villages and all the different countryside. And actually, having already done a trek, I definitely enjoyed this. Like, I really, the villages were all a little bit different from each other. The countryside, you know, I definitely saw new things and could certainly appreciate it. And the group that I was with, they were just so nice and so chatty and so friendly. And the our guide that we had as well was just great. He was so good and also just really smiley, and he laughed a lot and he explained a lot of things to us. So really great. I'm so excited to shower, to sleep in a bed by myself. I'm gonna go and do that. Now I have checked into the hotel, and it's just gonna be euphoric.